It's the fact that we're targeted. You find 4 or 5 abortion clinics per block in Harlem, where I'm from. And, they call them crisis pregnancy centers. They're nothing but a feeding tube, so to speak, to abortion clinics. So it's about time that people started speaking out, and especially African Americans, because it's right, they're right. This is not family values, and our people are being targeted. It's in a sense even worse than slavery.
I'm Gardner, president of the National Black Pro-Life Union, and I'm here to talk to you about Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is an organization that admits to purposefully planning baby-killing centers in urban and minority areas. In a recent YouTube video, they were excited to take donations specifically earmarked to kill black children. I'm standing shoulder to shoulder today in front of the Republican National Committee headquarters here in Washington, D.C. with colleagues and friends. Each of us represents thousands of Americans just like us, and we are here because Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion provider, has pledged to spend more than $10 million this election season in an all-out effort to buy candidates in November. So ask yourself, what do they hope to gain? Planned Parenthood wants politicians to turn a blind eye to their racist agenda. They are also paying for favors, hoping elected officials will look the other way, in spite of the fact that they are being investigated in many states for criminal activity, including performing illegal and late-term abortions, for falsifying records and protecting sexual predators, and they want to continue to receive the $350 million from us, the taxpayer. Yes, this money comes from us. The question you must ask yourself now is, are you for sale? Are you willing to sell your soul for 30 pieces of silver?
We stand today knowing that there are people of good conscience in both parties that know that some things are wrong. Yes, sir. That they are not supposed to be part of a nation that says everybody has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yeah. What good is equal job opportunity for a dead black child? Wow. What good is a quality education for a dead black child? What good is Voting Rights Act for a dead black child? Come on. Every single thing we gain. This is better than lynching, is womb lynching. For folks that like the KKK. Yeah, worse. This means that everything this child would have gained from civil rights movement is totally lost.
We had a civil rights movement some years ago that seemed to die after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. It petered out, it became diverted, distracted. It did not continue with the authority and the power that it once had. But I believe that there is a new black church that is coming forth with a new message, and is believing that there needs to be a new kind of reconciliation message that's at the heart of a new civil rights movement. It's time for the Republican Party to decide that it will not only not take money from this organization, but that it will begin to enforce the laws that are already on the books.
And so Planned Parenthood is a lying wonder. They gave an award to Martin Luther King Jr. in 1966 and lied to Dr. King and said, we wanted to help your community. How can you say to a nonviolent man years before abortion would become legal, we're going to help you? If you had told Dr. King, Planned Parenthood, that you were going to murder 50 million Americans, I will use the words of Father Frank Pavone over at Priests for Life. Planned Parenthood, by helping black Americans, is this what you mean? Going into the sanctuary of the womb and ripping our little babies apart in a very violent way, or using drugs that cause that same death, and the baby dies in that sanctuary, and that sanctuary becomes a tomb. Or the womb lynching that Dr. Hunter talked about, that is much worse, or as bad. I won't say much worse. I was in a house that got blown up while I was in the house. So that was kind of bad. But if you add up my daddy, Reverend A.D. King, who was a leader of the civil rights movement, it was our house, and they bombed his church. When I say they, I'm not talking about human beings. It has nothing to do with color. These are evil forces who want to kill our people. We are all human beings. Planned Parenthood is a lying wonder. They lied to Martin Luther King Jr. They lied to me and told me that my baby was a blob of tissue and that was a human being. We are all human beings here today, and we want to say, defund Planned Parenthood. Defund Planned Parenthood. Defund Planned Parenthood. God bless you.
Yeah.
Amen. This is the Republican National Committee. This is the party of Lincoln. This is the party that indeed saw the gross negligence and the abuse and violence of slavery. This is a party that was formed and founded based on an injustice that was in the land.
Come on.
The Republican Party was formed to stop slavery, a violent and egregious act. And once again, I'm calling on that same spirit, that you remember the rock from which you've been hewn.
Go ahead, brother.
Remember your beginnings.
Yes.
And recognize the most violent act in America is when you dismember a child in the womb. And your party responded back in the 1860s. We need you to once again to rally again to respond to the injustice that's going on in this nation today.
Yeah.
America, the African American community, these are the ones they missed. You got some doctors in here. You got some poets. Amen. You got some accountants, historians, teachers. You even got a few rappers. Republican and Democrat, Brown Party, Green Party, Constitutional Party. These are the ones that were missed. And the story goes forth that just about every one of their mothers was told, you don't have to have this historian. You don't have to have this doctor. You don't have to have this great athlete, this great teacher. And they were seduced because abortion is sold as a good thing.
We know Planned Parenthood is consistently receiving monies in the donations of racism and actually continuing and propagating the ideals of their founder, Margaret Sanger, who believed that African Americans and other minorities were not legitimate citizens. She believed that they were weeds and dregs on society.
Yes.
I'm calling on this party to own up to the moral promise. Seize the moral high ground today.
Yes, today.
Don't allow your opponents and oppositions to cede or to take moral high ground. I'm asking for the party that says in their platform that we are pro-life to live up to the standards and principles that you say that you have.
Yes.
Amen.
And I urge every congressman and every senator to stand up for what they know is right with conviction and challenge the establishment and Planned Parenthood as a billion-dollar organization to give back the money that it has stolen and also to be defunded from this Congress hereforth, now, and forevermore. Amen.
Defund Planned Parenthood.
Defund Planned Parenthood. Defund Planned Parenthood. Defund Planned Parenthood.
Now we're going to have members of this organization, of this group of people here, to come out and grab a piece of this check. This is a $10 million check that Planned Parenthood will be donating to candidates in this election season. That's $10 million. A lot of that is taxpayer dollars. We're saying defund Planned Parenthood. We're saying we want you to return the money, the $10 million, to refuse the $10 million to any candidate. Grab a piece of this check, and on the count of three, we are saying, let's bring one of the kids in.
Come on.
We want to say defund Planned Parenthood, give back that money, refuse this blood money given to candidates by this horrible, racist organization. On the count of three. 1,